Welcome to episode 12 of the Wild World podcast. I'm your host Thomas from the Wild World YouTube channel, and joining me is my co-host Mika.
Hi there. Sorry it's been a while. I just started a new job and both of us have been too busy to record lately, but hello.
Hello. So let's start with the wildlife radar. What's been on your radar?
Nothing much. Lately, I've been going out near dusk sometimes, and I know there are coyotes, but I never see them. Like, I hear them at night.
How'd you know they're there?
I hear them at night, all night, and sometimes when I'm walking around, I can almost smell them, and I can definitely see their scat, like, everywhere. Sometimes
What
I
do
even
they
see
smell
tufts.
like?
I just smell, it smells bad, like an animal has recently been in there, you know? Because sometimes I see tufts of hair, fur, or feathers from they ate something, they caught something and ate it. Yeah, but I still haven't seen one, which is sad. But I have seen coyotes, like, other times in my life, so it's okay. The geese are migrating overhead, or they were recently, and they're very loud, which is very good fall energy. How about you? Do you have migrating geese where you are?
No.
That is so sad.
You have
what
tons
else?
of geese around your area.
Yeah. A few weeks ago it snowed, and then all the prairie dogs went to sleep. You couldn't see them, and I thought they were hibernating. But then it got warm again, and then they came out, and I was like, do prairie dogs not hibernate? Or, like, what's their deal? Maybe they were just sleeping. Honestly, I'm jealous, because wouldn't you like, when it's a bad day of weather, to just sleep all day, and then you only have to come out, like, when you feel like it, and your only job is to eat?
Yeah, hibernating is appealing. Or a
Yeah.
version of hibernating is appealing.
Well, you know what I told you before that, I don't remember if I read it or if it was my own personal theory that humans used to hibernate, because I think it makes a lot of sense for us to hibernate, because here's my evidence. 1, seasonal depression. I think that, like, we're not meant to live in the dark, which, I mean, some people would disagree with that, but I do think that it's good for us to live sort of with the sun, and we get this cozy feeling in the winter where we just want to do nothing. And I can just imagine our ancestors, like, during a winter, we've gathered all this food into our cave or whatever, and then we all huddle and cuddle together and don't do much. Like, maybe it's not a true hibernation, maybe we tell stories, and I'm thinking maybe there was something that we used to do where our metabolism would drop in the winter, to help us survive through the horrible,
When food was
hard
scarce.
winter. Yeah, and now that we don't do that, I don't know, I feel like maybe our bodies hate us a little bit. Like, our bodies are like, stop going out all the time in the winter. Just let us sleep more. It's just my theory. What do you think?
Yeah, possibly. I wonder, though, what I'm thinking is maybe we're not meant for winter, but could that be because, like, humans originated in a warmer climate? And we haven't fully adapted yet?
I don't know, because we were able to adapt because of our skill at making clothes. So, I mean, it's not like
We might have already
we
had that
moved
skill,
from
though.
Africa a generation ago, you know? Huh?
Yeah, but it's a slow process.
But it was time enough for you to develop your blue eyes. Like,
Come on.
if we can have blue eyes, we can get used to a less warm climate.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
That's
think
just a
that
theory.
people should be, like, more understanding of themselves and others when the weather is bad, and they should realize that this hustle culture of pushing yourself even if it's snowing, which I really hated in Japan, I think it's unnatural. Don't quote me. I'm not a scientist. I mean, I'm not peer reviewed.
Sounds like a decent idea. I just was playing devil's advocate.
What about you? Do you have anything on your radar?
I started watching that show called Life on Our Planet, I think it's called.
There are a lot of them.
A lot of shows called that.
Similar names like that, yeah.
The new Netflix show, produced by Spielberg, narrated by Morgan Freeman. You haven't seen it or anything?
I think I might have seen a bit of it, maybe. They all blend together for me. Like,
Yeah, they do. And they all come out around the same time-ish.
yeah.
Like Prehistoric Planet 2 feels like it only came out a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, I was just wondering, like, because sometimes we talk about things we read in books, and there was something that has a wildlife feeling for me. I was reading a book about vampires, Not Twilight, in case that's what you were thinking. More of a like vampires
Don't
as
get so defensive, man.
Vampires more as a creature, like a scary creature. And I was thinking, are vampires cryptids? No, right?
I wouldn't really say so.
But they're just they have the same vibe as cryptids.
Can a human be a cryptid?
I guess not. I don't think so. Because we know humans are real. But it just made me think,
otherwise a zombie could be a cryptid.
Well,
a mummy.
What I'm saying about vampires is that they remind me of cryptids because there is some evidence that they could be real. I mean, depending on how strong of an evidence you're looking for.
And what definition of vampire as well, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's like really ingrained in the human psyche, just as many cryptids are.
Yeah.
Another thing is,
There's
it sort of
definitely an
reminds.
overlap.
Yeah, it's like, what if it's just some other type of human that's sort of a similar thing as Bigfoot? You know what I mean? Like it's so similar to us, but also a little bit different, and it's scary.
If you were to draw a Venn diagram between a vampire and a Sasquatch, they probably have a lot of things in common. Cultural layers. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're both in The Sims 2.
Okay.
Well, they're both in The Sims, although Bigfoot in The Sims isn't a life state. It's just one guy.
Can you play as him?
Yeah, well, yeah, you can. You have to go to the woods and you have to make friends with Bigfoot. It's really hard because you have to find him first. And then after you become friends with him, you can ask him to move in, and then he will.
And then you can control him like another sim?
Yeah, but he can't have kids he can't have kids. So it's just one guy, like I said. Compared to vampires in The Sims and other life states like mermaids and whatever, I don't know, aliens, like they can have kids that look like them.
Humans?
Yeah.
Surely a Sasquatch would be more related to us than some alien.
Well, I mean, that's something you gonna have to take up with EA. But my point is that they're both they're all these creatures that are in our heads that are put into video games and stuff like that. They're just like on the same genre for me, in the same genre. And they all fit into the November-October spooky time.
Is it still the spooky time?
Yeah, because October 31st is the beginning of spooky time. It's when the spookiness, okay, it's not really the beginning. It's sort of the end.
Start.
I guess like October 31st is when all the animals and everything's unleashed. And then I would say November, you still have the spooky spirit because like there's Day of the Dead. And then it's just a similar weather. And isn't that what Samhain? Mm-hmm. The original word, like that's originally Halloween. And that just means November now. So that's why I feel like November is just extended. The feeling of I shouldn't go outside. Something scary might be happening, but it's not too scary. I'm not going to freeze to death. Like, I'm trying to tap into the ancient human psyche here. You know what I mean?
Sounds like you've been, like, really worried to go outside recently, and you're trying to justify it.
No, I'm just talking about, like, how ancient humans must have felt when they're coming up with all these things. Vampires and werewolves and Halloween and hibernation.
Had a good excuse to stay inside. No, we can't go outside. Why?
You can't go out in the dark because the witches and everything's going to be out.
Yeah, I suppose.
You need to have more compassion for your ancestors. Empathy for your ancestors.
What have they ever done for me?
I always like to think about what our ancestors might have thought about certain things, and this is one of those things. Like,
they probably think this is really weird and dumb.
Yeah, they'd be like, "You brought me into the future to listen to a podcast."
I had to survive cold winters just so you yap about vampires.
Yeah. But anyway, vampires aren't cryptids. That's what we've decided. So I actually have not read any books featuring any type of wildlife lately.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say I haven't actually read a book about vampires and you just use that as a lie to get into the conversation.
Just let people finish their sentences. Anyway.
I did.
Do you want to talk about wildlife in the news?
Might as well.
Okay. So my first article is from August 2023, which isn't really that long ago, but sort of.
Continuing your streak of old news.
That's just what I do. So it's about emperor penguins, and it was really sad because the babies are dying and they might have to abandon their breeding sites because of the sea ice. So if the sea ice like breaks up too early, consider that August 2023 is going into spring in Antarctica. So if the sea ice breaks up too early into the spring, then the emperor penguins can't raise their young. The babies will drown or starve. And yeah, they can't breed, which is bad. So this was talking about this will happen. It will be a disastrous breeding season if the ice breaks up. And they were saying October could happen and that would be a disaster. But then I tried looking it up to see what has happened since this article was written. And I couldn't see anything about the sea ice breaking up yet. I did see lots of articles talking about how during the winter and going into spring, the sea ice settled at a record low, but it didn't say anything about if it's broken up. So maybe the emperor penguins are still okay, considering it's definitely not October. Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's pretty sad news.
It is sad, yes.
And then it's also... No, go ahead.
Huh? Well, if I was going to solve this problem, besides like stopping global warming,
Yeah, good luck.
I wonder if they would go for artificial islands that we could create for them to hang out on,
Maybe. Because, it's another one of these articles, depressing articles that underscores, like, the threat of climate change and impending doom. But what can you do?
I don't know. Nothing.
How do we solve the climate crisis?
Right. I mean, there are lots of things you can do, but also maybe none of it matters. This is called, like, nihilism.
This is doomer culture.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say nothing matters. I just say that there's so many little tricks these days. Like, every time it seems like there's this really good idea, like maybe an electric vehicle or something, and you look into it and you see how many carbon emissions are produced in making it, or how many of them are powered by a power grid that is burning coal or something. You're like, oh, God's sake.
Yep. Just give up.
No, don't just give up.
Don't give up. It was this because I saw this thing today. It was like young people look younger than they ever have before. And it's because instead of being stressed about things, they've just given up because there are so many things to be stressed about and none of it matters. Which I sort of related to. I was like, yeah, just have fun and stop worrying because you can't change anything. Oh, no. Oh, it's a pervasive view, though.
It's a nonsense view. There's no way that's true.
We can't all be Greta Thunberg or Thunberg.
People look younger because they've all given up.
Yeah, and they're just focused on vibes, not on
Are they?
I don't know. It's just something I saw, like someone posted about it. I don't know.
Maybe they mean people younger than you and me. I don't know. Because I feel like in our generation, a lot of people I know are pretty stressed.
Everyone's stressed, but the point is that it's gone beyond being stressed. It's gone to like, I'm just gonna go to a rave because I can't handle all the stress. Look, I didn't write it. I'm just saying that's what some people are saying.
Spreading it around.
Okay, well, so it's really depressing, but maybe it's sort of okay. The penguins seem all right. That's the point of that article. How about you?
Here's a little subject for you. After 150 years, wolves have returned to Southern California. Apparently they weren't there before, which sounds like a positive thing if you're really into wildlife. But a lot of farmers are very annoyed because they're afraid the wolves may kill their livestock and they want something done about it, but the wolves are protected, so if you kill them, you could go to jail, or you could be fined $100,000, or you could get away with it. Some people have. So I don't know. Maybe choose option 3 if you're planning on doing that.
Yeah, if you're planning on committing a crime, make sure you plan on getting away with it.
That's the part that most people leave out. Yeah, I don't know. There's some lines in this that I thought were really silly. Like someone said, do big predators belong in the modern world?
I thought that was stupid too.
No, they should all be taken out.
We're a big predator.
There's so many big predators. Like, what? You just want to be left with loaded like creepy bugs. And apparently, it's sort of misguided fear because it's really rare for wolves to attack livestock. Apparently.
I've never been attacked by a wolf.
That's because you're not livestock.
No, it's because I'm not a deer.
Correct.
Yeah.
I guess.
Do you have anything else to say? It's just you wrote more notes about it, so I was wondering if you were going to go into this.
Well, I don't know. Do you have anything to say before I keep rambling?
It's cool that there are wolves in California. Now bring back the golden bear.
Can they bring back the golden bear?
No, it's extinct. I mean, they can bring it back just like they can bring back the mammoth, but...
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah. I want to see a golden bear. Like,
Surely
is it really
couldn't
golden?
Too hard to do.
I mean,
Like,
it's
wouldn't
just
it
as
be-
hard as bringing back any extinct animal is what I'm saying.
Is it though? Wouldn't it be like pretty close related to a grizzly?
Yeah, but there are still like complications and things. So if you see a wolf, don't kill it.
Yep. I think
Not
that's the
that
real
anyone who
fear.
listens to this, no one's out here listening to this like, hey, we're super
farmer
into
in-
killing wolves.
Southern California has his gun cocked ready, and he's like, those two weird doomer vampire people.
Yeah. Do you want me to go to my article next?
Yeah, we can just move on.
Okay, so this was a pretty cool feature in the New York Times.
The malware
They do, like,
article.
They go to different places, like, and cover sort of small cultural events. So this is a snake village festival in Italy called Rito dei Serpari. I don't know if that actually sounded good or it was like
Sounded
bad,
great.
but it's the rite of the snake charmers on May 1st. In honor of San Domenico, the St. Patrick of Italy. I called him that because his whole thing is that he got rid of the snakes. I don't know. It's weird because Ireland
He's-
doesn't have snakes, but Italy does, so sorry.
For the listeners who might not know who St. Patrick is.
Okay. So St. Patrick is a guy from, well, not from Ireland, but he went to Ireland and he brought like Christianity there, and he also got rid of all the snakes, allegedly. But I don't think he really did that. There just weren't any snakes there.
Yeah. And then this other guy
yeah.
did the same. San Domenico.
Yeah, but it's weird because, like, on St. Patrick's Day, you don't celebrate snakes, but on this day, you celebrate snakes, which I'm confused about because since I wrote down that he's the St. Patrick of Italy, I'm thinking that I read that he got rid of the snakes, but now I'm confused, and I might be wrong. But anyway, so not only is it tied to a saint, but like many holidays in this world, it has pagan roots. It's rooted in the ancient worship of the goddess Angitia. So I guess she's like into snakes or something. Again, I should have... So I'm reading more about Angitia. She was a goddess in central Italy. She was associated with snake charmers. Snake charmers said they were descended from her. She seems to also have been a Greek goddess. She specialized in curing snake bites. She was a healer. She did witchcraft and other things. She could control snakes as well, and she could kill them. So she was like into snakes, but also she was in charge of getting rid of snakes. Yeah. Anyway, so it's about her, but it's also about San Domenico. So on this day, May 1st, the children and other people go looking for snakes, and they collect them, and then there are all these pictures of like a bunch of snakes, like masses of snakes being picked up and being worn and being paraded around. So not only are there a bunch of snakes that people find for this festival, but also researchers have started realizing it's a really good opportunity to study snakes. Like, because snakes are hard to find, but now a bunch of people are getting snakes for you for free. So 15 years ago, researchers started studying all the snakes that were brought in. They took measurements, swabbed the snakes, and inserted microchips. And so the data collected from these hundreds of specimens over the years has contributed to several published studies on the distribution and conservation strategies of local snake species. And it's a citizen science project that has raised awareness for snakes because people hate them, but they shouldn't be hated. Yeah.
Did they release the snakes afterwards then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it's four-lined snakes are the big ones in this area, I guess. You can put a picture of a four-lined snake up. But this sounds fun, doesn't it? I would love to go to this festival.
Yeah. I'm just slightly concerned for the welfare of the snakes. So many people
they're
grabbing
good.
them and everything.
Yeah, it's probably their nightmare. Like May 1st for snakes is like our Halloween. All the demon people are gonna come out and find us. They have to hide.
Shall we move on? Mm-hmm. Okay, final story. We have a little positive story to end the news. It seems that new tactics to reduce poaching in Malaysia are working quite well. There's these new tactics and ideas that are being used, like doing more interviews, figuring out what the poachers are using to make snares, and then trying to track down that material and see who has it. And also when they catch poachers, interviewing them and finding out more information about poaching. Yeah, there's a little bit more to it, but basically it seems like their anti-poaching measures are working really well. Poaching in the country has declined by up to 40% during the study period, which I think went for about 4 or 5 years. They're still not on target to hit their population goals for the tigers, but they're still doing all right.
So who came up with
seems to have
these?
stabilized.
Who came up with these conservation initiatives? Was it the government? Was it local conservation nonprofits, or was it like an international group?
I think it was multiple groups working together, because there was something about the leader of the tiger conservation in WWF, but it was also local rangers. Malaysia's Department of Wildlife and National Parks, SPARTA. So I guess it was them. So I guess it was local government and a few other organizations working together.
That's cool.
I think with tiger stuff, it's usually a few groups.
That is cool.
Yep.
Okay, should we move on to the wild chat?
Yep. The haunted chat.
The haunted chat. Yes, so today I wanted to talk about what is the spookiest animal, and to give more structure, I want to talk about if we were going to make a wildlife-themed haunted house, what would that be like? I thought this was fun. I came up with it all by myself, and I was like, whoa, I want to talk about that, so. So here are some ideas I already have. Like, obviously you need to have a watery part. Maybe like you're not in the water, because that would be silly. I mean, people aren't going to go in a haunted house if they have to wade or swim.
To be honest.
Although we could.
I was a little surprised you said you obviously need a watery part in the haunted house.
There's going to be one, like a moat or something, like before you even get there. Yeah. And it would be full of
idea.
like...
I'm surprised that you said it.
Like some things you could put in would be like electric eels, sharks, alligators. Those are all scary. Snapping turtles are pretty scary.
It sounds actually dangerous though.
Well, no, I'm just saying like... like, yeah, I mean, that's dangerous, but it's a haunted house, so you could put animatronic versions of those animals. So, you know, it's not like we're actually making a house full of different wildlife. It's a wildlife themed haunted house. Just like when you go to other haunted houses, it's not actually full of axe murderers.
Okay. You could do some like live animals that would be scary but not actually dangerous.
Yeah, you could.
That's what I was thinking.
Like what?
Yeah, well, spiders, I guess. Most people are afraid of them.
Oh yeah, like a room full of spiders and they like drop on your head. Oh.
Or it's like a small room and like fence open up, and you know those huntsman spiders?
Uh-huh.
Well, I guess there's a lot of different species, but whatever the biggest one is, something maxima, just have hundreds of them swarm into the room, sprinting around and jumping.
Oh my goodness. You'd have to protect them though. Like.
Yeah, maybe not.
What else? There could be like tigers are scary. I know you're afraid of tigers.
That's very reasonable.
I was thinking sounds. Like soundscapes are a big part of a haunted house for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like coyotes, you know? That's why I wanted to put that in the intro. Just the sound of a bunch of coyotes howling is a little bit eerie.
Is there anywhere it was like, for you personally, where if you were to be locked in a room, well, actually, I think I know the answer, but I'll ask anyway, locked into a room with an animal or multiples of that animal, that would be the scariest one you could imagine, what would you choose?
I wouldn't like it if it was like a mukade, a Japanese millipede.
Okay. I was going to say roaches for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. You definitely need a roach room. Oh, no. Oh, that's awful.
I've been looking into breeding roaches recently.
Why?
They're supposed to be great food for spiders.
Yeah, well, you don't know. I mean, if you had like a pet lizard, then I would excuse you having a bunch of roaches. But don't just get them to feed the spiders that live in your house.
No, I mean, hypothetically, I've ever gotten with a tarantula.
Oh, okay. I was gonna be so mad. Anyway, other scary animals, like owl hooting is a very eerie sound.
Yeah, owls are just freaky looking.
Little bat screeches, and like, again, it could not, maybe it's not a real bat, but just rig something so that there's like the feeling of the bats all around you and like hitting into your head and all that.
This could be a VR thing, so we could have it could look super real, and then we wouldn't have to worry about animals or humans getting hurt.
Yeah. What else is scary? I mean, we can't do dinosaurs, even though dinosaurs are scary, because we were talking about wildlife, like real animals that are alive now. Not fake animals that were alive then. Not animals that were alive in the past.
Yeah.
I could see like an angry elephant charging at you. That is scary.
That is scary, yeah.
Like you go up to the top floor and then you like pass a corner and then you trip something like a wire and then the elephant, you hear it first and then you see it like charging at you.
We have like a vibrating floor.
Oh, scary. Horses are also scary too. Like their eyes would glow and then.
It sounds a bit like Jumanji a bit.
It's Jumanji, but yeah, except instead of it being you're trapped in a game. I mean, I guess it's like Jumanji is basically because they're all in the house and stuff with you. I could see that. Obviously, you need snakes. We need a snake room. Huge boas ready to constrict. Cobras. Maybe you could have some like people, either actors or props that have been bitten and they're like horribly bruised and disgusting on the side of the room.
I mean, if you want,
and it's like, it's like this thing that's flashing, and it's like escaped test snakes, like that are being studied. You know, snakes. No, like it's a lab that was studying venomous snakes, and then you see the glasses broken, and it's like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah,
like our Snake Park horror movie.
Right? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Based on true events, kind of. So.
Yes, based on true events. Anything else to add to this?
I don't know, chimps, if you're getting chased through the house by
Oh
chimps.
my god, yeah. I mean, okay, if you haven't seen Nope, I know you have. Nope is like it was really visceral horror for me. I'm not like that into horror movies because, well, I don't watch that many. And a lot of times I'm just like, whatever. Like obviously this isn't real. But this movie, it was, even though many people didn't like it or didn't think it was scary or whatever, I thought it was so scary because there's this part with a chimpanzee. And it was like...
Based on real events as well.
Yeah, based on real events. And it was just so full of dread. And it really got me. So you should see that if you are a fan of 1, horror, 2, chimpanzees, 3...
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi, yeah. But no, a chimpanzee room, that would definitely...
or they're chasing you through the thing. And that's what
you hear it yelling and screeching and... You see, like, first, as you enter the room, you see something and you're like, oh, that's weird. Like, maybe some blood. Or you're like, what? And you don't know. And then you see that something was done to upset the chimpanzee. And it thinks you did it. And it's chasing you. Oh.
It has a picture of you and it's holding it up. I was thinking as well, it could be like, there's different rooms in the house and the chimps are chasing you. So you go into, let's say, a room or your virtual room and you lock the doors and you hear the chimps smashing away at the door. Mm-hmm. And it's like 5 minutes before they break through. Like as if they're smashing, like holes are coming through. Each room has a task, like get the key out of this pit of cobras.
Oh, like an escape room, not just a haunted house.
Kind of, yeah. But then each room, it's not really solving puzzles. It's more you have to like deal with another animal.
Yeah.
To progress.
Like Jumanji, escape room, haunted house, all mixed together.
Yeah.
This is good. I would go to this.
It'll probably never be anything.
Because, like, I don't like going to haunted houses because I don't like how the actors, they just creep me out, which is the point. But, like, I remember one time I went and then my friend's little brother tripped and he fell on the ground. And then all these people dressed up as evil clowns were, like, going over him and, like, staring at him. It was like he's just a little kid who tripped, you know? And it's not realistic because they wouldn't wait and stare at him. He would be dead. And then at the end... I was running away from a guy with a chainsaw, which I hate because it's a real chainsaw. So it's not even like, oh, I trust him because he's an actor. What if there was a malfunction and then I do get killed by the chainsaw? Like, surely that could happen.
It's not a real chainsaw, though. Surely it can't actually cut.
Well, I didn't stick around to find out. I just don't like that. It's not. It's like, I mean, I guess it's scary. It's definitely
It's
scary,
very,
but
like,
this idea of
horrific,
ours is
violent,
so. Yeah, that's
spooky.
it's like
Ours
all
is more
the
psychological, I think.
yeah. The fear of a normal haunted house is like, I don't want my head chopped off. But then ours is like, these are animals that are real that you can encounter. Not that murders aren't real, but it's just like.
But it's also like
It's
this.
really.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's like a survival in the wild, tapping into your primal instincts or something. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
Not really. I mean, any animal that can hurt you, I guess you could put in there at some point.
I was trying to think about how you would incorporate mosquitoes. Like, first of all, it would be a room where there's a bunch of people who are really ill, either actors or props again, and they're like dying and lying in their deathbed, and it's really gross. That could be part of it. But then, are we going to have a swarm of like mechanical mosquitoes or the sound of them, and then you're trying to swat them away? Because I don't think that's scary. That's just annoying.
Yeah, I feel like mosquitoes aren't, despite them being the deadliest animal after humans, they're not really scary, are they? They're more just like a very annoying animal.
It's just like, ugh, get away from me. But
get away with your malaria, you freak.
Yeah.
I wish you had like a giant mosquito. Maybe that would be scary.
I mean, it's scary because it's big, but it's not. What's it gonna do? Like stab me entirely through my body to get my blood? Because
imagine how much blood it would drain.
Oh, gross. Yeah, you could have someone totally drained of blood in the corner. That could be a cryptid. Giant mosquito, aka vampire.
Oh, well, came full circle. Speaking of cryptids.
Oh, are we done talking about our haunted house now?
Or unless you want to keep going. I just saw this.
Well, we never answered the question. We talked about the haunted house, but what do you think is the spookiest animal?
Me personally?
Yeah. Owl?
What do you mean by spookiest?
Spooky. Ooh.
As in, like, this would be a great...
Like, not dangerous necessarily, but unsettling. It unsettles you.
So it personally scares me the most.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer? Is it...
I mean, cockroaches maybe. Roaches? Or jellyfish are also pretty scary, to be honest. But no, I wouldn't say I'm scared of jellyfish. I'm definitely afraid of cockroaches, though. But I don't think cockroaches are spooky. Spooky has a little bit of lightheartedness. Cockroaches are gross and scary.
So I'm not
spooky
really sure
animals
what you
are
mean.
like, it just tap into this spooky feeling. A little bit scary, but also spooky. Like in a fun way.
It wouldn't look out of place if it was a Halloween decoration.
Yeah.
I guess yes. Bat.
Okay.
Because when a bat's in the room flying around, it's kind of spooky.
Yeah. I'm thinking of bigger. Like, for me, it would have to be bigger to be really spooky. Like, an
angry wolf?
Yeah. Or you know what? Moose are pretty spooky. Like, moose are so big.
Like, you're in a forest at night.
Yeah, and then their eyes probably glow. And then they have these huge, like, weapons on their head. And they're really fast and strong. But I don't want to be quoted as saying the spookiest animal is a moose. Like, that just seems silly.
Man, who's even going to quote you? We're going to get, like, 2 comments under this
No, I'm
video.
just saying, like, I don't really know if I would call them the spookiest. That they are spooky.
I feel like it's a very limited range.
Well, I knew someone who was really afraid of horses. Not in a fear like, oh, I don't want to get near a horse because it's definitely going to kill me. Like that, like you might if you were afraid of tigers or something. But more like, yeah, they're dangerous. And also they're just spooky. Like in the dark, their eyes glow and they look at you like this. Like, like they're watching you.
Well for a podcast.
So I get that horses are spooky, but I'm not personally finding horses spooky.
I guess I think owls are pretty spooky.
Owls are spooky. That is true.
They look just so angry all the time.
I think anything with big old round eyes, that's going to be spooky. Like those monkeys, those ones with the huge eyes and they're like just, oh God, like the way they look at you, those are scary. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, the tarsier. Yeah, I find tarsiers actually quite spooky.
I know, I feel bad for tarsiers. Aren't they hunted because people think they're like really scary and stuff? And
they're spooky. I mean, I don't want anyone to kill them. I don't want anyone to kill them, but I see it. Like their eyes are big. Big old eyes. All right, well, that's good. That's enough of that. We're done talking about spooky animals?
Mm-hmm.
Should we move on to...
Speaking of cryptids...
Yes.
Welcome to the final episode of Cryptid Court.
It's not the final episode. What are you talking about?
Getting cancelled after this.
We are?
These shenanigans.
What did I do?
No, I'm just kidding. It's just, I think we need to change the format up or something a bit. Because today I'm going to be pro Yeti.
No. We're both, no, that's not what we talked about. We said that you're going to bring more pro points to the table. I'm going to bring more cons, but neither of us are pro or con. We're going to discuss it as a jury.
Oh, we are going to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah. That's better than what we were planning to do.
No, that's not what I thought you got it. I'm sorry.
Anyway, well, one thing I thought we could do is, what if I give you a piece of pro evidence and you give your quick response / takedown, or if you think it's believable or not?
Okay. What do you mean that's one thing we could do? Isn't that what we always do?
Yeah, but almost like more quick fire.
Oh, okay. Go on then.
All right. I guess
first we have to talk about what we're talking about today.
Oh yeah, what is a Yeti?
It is a Yeti. That's what we're talking about. Which is a creature. It's not new. It's from Tibetan folklore. It means it's Yache, which means rocky place bear in Tibetan. Here are some of its features that have been agreed upon. A robust and muscular build, shaggy fur that helps it blend into its snowy habitat, although usually not white. In almost all sightings, it's been black or brown or reddish. And its height ranges from 1.8 to 2.7 meters, which is 6 to 9 feet.
Maybe I'll just go with the big one right away and shoot this one at you. Are you familiar with the Shipton prints?
More or less.
So, the British mountaineering crew trying to search a route to climb Everest, and Eric Shipton found these, the crew found the footprints and Eric Shipton took the pictures. Some people think that's the best evidence for a Yeti. You can see all the toes. It's up in the mountain. Legends don't leave footprints.
I've seen two things about this. One of them is that it could just be a bear, and the way it walks is it overlaps, and then it makes a footprint that looks sort of like that. Secondly, this is sort of funny. I just read it in one account. Mm-hmm. It was talking about how many people of the area have their toes turn at a 90-degree angle. What he's describing is bunions, like really, really bad bunions.
Oh my.
And he's saying, some people have a foot shape like that, and then it can leave a shape like that, and then it can be distorted by snow melt and stuff. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Well, I got a comment yesterday. Those footprints discovered in the 1950s were obviously non-bear. So.
Well, some experts would disagree and say that it obviously could be a bear. I don't know what to tell you.
That could be an expert too. He seems very confident.
He could be, but yeah.
Okay. This is the one I really don't like, but what's your take on the Dyatlov Pass incident being a Yeti?
So I actually wanted to bring this up because it was in some article I read. It was talking about how in 2014, the Discovery Channel hosted a special called The Russian Yeti, The Killer Lives. It was about that incident. And as we know from Discovery and channels like that make a lot of fake documentaries. So what I was wondering is, was this a fake documentary or was it real? Did they really were they really presenting good evidence for the Russian Yeti?
That was fake, man.
Okay, I didn't know because I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
The two people were actually mountaineers. I don't know how they got them to agree to it. But then it was Blair Witch found footage horror movie. Mm-hmm. They're in a cave and they could hear Yetis screaming and stuff.
See, because the reason I say this is it was on an article talking about the Yeti, a factual type article. And it was just saying, in 2014, the Discovery Channel hosted the special, blah, 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 blah. The documentary looks at the wounds and offers its opinion that they were caused by something much stronger than a human being. And it was stated as if it was this factual evidence thing.
Yeah, that's bad journalism right there. That's a fictional. It's like their Megalodon or submarine.
Okay,
show.
Well, so my take on the incident is I don't know, and I don't really care, and it doesn't seem like it was a Yeti. I don't know. Did I?
You should just type in Dyatlov Pass Yeti. Or actually, I think the Discovery Channel, that show, they had it as their poster. You could also watch my short on the channel.
I watch your stuff, but I don't retain it that well.
Won't pay attention.
No, like, because sometimes I don't remember what I was doing when I was watching the video about the Dyatlov Pass. It was interesting, but obviously I didn't remember all these details. I'm sorry. What is the picture? Oh, it's like, who took that picture? Was it found on the camera?
Yeah, they had
it was found on the
multiple
camera
cameras. I can't remember.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, I remember I saw that picture and I thought it just looked like a guy wearing clothes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, because you can, if you look closely, you can kind of see where, like, as I said in the video, it looks like he's wearing trousers because his below his torso is really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that. Anything else?
What about the skull cap and the hand in the Panboche monastery?
See, when I was reading about this, there were all these physical evidences. They were all like, we have this hair, we have this skull, we have blah, 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 blah. All of it. Every single sample has been tested and proven to be a bear. I wrote a list here. It's proven to be a bear, a yak, a wolf, a sarrow, a goral, a monkey, even a rock. Not the sample. A sample wasn't proven to be a rock, but so here's the list of what I wrote down. So mostly the sightings have been bears. Sometimes the fur samples and stuff, the footprints, whatever, they've been bears. Sometimes people just see a yak. Some of the fur samples and other sightings have been just wolves. The skull was a sarrow. A goral is a goat. It's a type of antelope thing.
I know they said, maybe getting confused, then they say, some people said langur monkeys.
Yeah, a langur monkey.
Although they're pretty small, so.
Yeah, but it's all about like how far away you are and how confused you are and a bunch of other stuff. One guy was saying, yeah, I saw something, and then I went back later and I was like, I think it was just a rock. There's the theory about the humans with really big, really severe bunions, which that runs in my family, like terrible bunions. So I was wondering maybe it could be a genetic trait that lots of people in this area might have. I don't know. I'm not a bunion expert. I'm just saying, because apparently people were saying like this isn't a human footprint because of the angle is too weird, but that's not necessarily true. And then civets. Apparently some other people saw civets. So even though there's plenty of physical evidence, it's all been disproven with genetic analysis. And even though there's lots of sightings, people have said, I mean, it could be any number of these different things. So,
but Mika, they don't let you test the real hand and skull. Those are just decoys. The real ones are hidden away in the monastery.
Well, why?
So people don't steal them.
Okay, but don't they want it to be proven? Why are they hiding it? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, their other stuff was stolen. Like the piece of the hand was stolen, and the scalp was stolen.
But it was stolen after it was tested, though.
No, it was stolen and then tested, I think.
Oh, did they steal it? I thought they gave it to them. Anyway.
It just depends who you ask.
Well, anyway, it's just like, yeah, all this evidence that people are waiting for. They don't need to wait. It's already the tests have been done.
Okay, this is the ace up my sleeve. I hope you're ready.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Rhys Darby?
Yes.
Rhys Darby says he believes that the Yeti is real. He even said so. What do they call the lie detector tests?
You truly believe in things like Yetis and Chupacabra. Abracadabra.
El Chupacabra, the goat sucker. Yes. Variant solved.
I met a few goat suckers on my time.
Okay, so the lie detector test knows the truth regardless of what he believes. It
so
just
you're saying
says
he was lying?
I'm saying he can believe that it's real. That doesn't mean that he has evidence that it's real.
So you think he's an idiot?
No. I just think.
Why do you hate Rhys Darby?
I don't hate Rhys Darby. I love Rhys Darby, but he has never gone out there to look for himself. Once he does, I'd be happy to see what he has to say. Hear what he has to say and see his evidence.
Polygraph, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Are you done with the rapid fire thing? I have some notes that are just interesting about the Yeti, unless we want to argue more.
No, I think I hit the main points.
So I think the biggest argument for me that the Yeti could be real is also a big argument for me that it's not real, which is that it is a really ancient creature. As ancient as, say, a vampire or, a werewolf or something like that. No, but it's like been there for a long time. It's folklore.
Yeah.
It's
Isn't it like the
an ancient
12th
creature.
century or something?
Probably before. So
Yeah,
ancient
probably.
scrolls kept in Himalayan monasteries reveal the tale of how the Yeti was born. It was born to a Tibetan mother and a Mahalangur giant ape, according to one of the scrolls, or maybe all of them, I don't know. Traditional tales in the Himalayan region refer to the Yeti as a glacier spirit that brings fortune to hunting parties. That's one interpretation. So it's like a good thing. Or sometimes it's referred to as a boogeyman to scare people from venturing too deeply into the mountains. And I sort of see that like, we have all these tales about scary things because we don't want kids to wander off. We have tales about like Hansel and Gretel wandering off and getting almost killed by the witch. We have, like big scary bears are going to get you in North America. So we often tell children these things just because we don't want them to run away. So I could see this being a Himalayan legend that was told to children so that they don't run away and get into trouble. Yeah, and then also the spirit that brings fortune to hunting parties. That also makes sense as something that isn't necessarily based on anything real. It's just like sometimes you see things because you've been walking for ages and it's like whiteout conditions. And you can be like, oh, that's the spirit that's protecting us or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying like it doesn't necessarily mean it's real, but because it's been documented in all these scrolls, that is some evidence that it could be real, on the other hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the time when it's brought to like the West, we always want to think of it as a flesh and blood animal, but in a lot of original accounts, it seems like it's more of a spiritual being that maybe doesn't even exist on our plane, or it can like shift in and out like a ghost almost.
Yeah, it's similar to what we were talking about with the cryptid we didn't discuss a little bit ago. It's not like an animal that you can find. It's not even an animal in that one's case. It's a spirit. It's something that is related to like human. So similarly, like the Yeti could just be a spirit, a spiritual belief and being that is
It's
related
a guardian,
to like.
isn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes it's scary and sometimes it's not scary, but either way, it's something out there. It's like a metaphor or it's spiritual, however you want to think of it. It'd be cool if it was real. I always say that about everything. There isn't really anything I would be like, oh, it wouldn't be cool if that was real. Although there probably is something.
I mean, the previous thing, if their interpretation of it being an animal, probably wouldn't be.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Don't really know what else to say. I mean, I made like an hour-long video about why I don't think the Yeti is real. Or
And yet,
a real
everyone
physical
voted
animal.
for it. Yeah. Everyone voted for it because they didn't believe your first video that you made. They were like,
Tell us what you really think.
yeah. No, they wanted my opinion, obviously.
Yeah.
I really like the Yeti character in Monsters, Inc. I find him a lovable guy.
I was really disappointed
He's
by
so
that.
nice. He's so nice. He's like, here, you guys, I made you some snow cones. He's such friendly. He's a friendly guy.
You know, he's a nice guy, but there's something about I didn't like seeing that.
Okay, well, you don't like anything. You don't like anything by that company.
That's not true.
You hate kids' movies by Disney and Pixar.
That's not true. The Lion King's like one of my favorite movies.
Okay, well, you don't like anything that has been made post 2000.
Finding Nemo, 2003.
Fine.
He's making wild claims.
Okay, is that all? If you have any more information or thoughts about the Yeti, please let us know.
It's a shame the Louisiana bog Sasquatch thing didn't come up because it died.
I know, I was excited for that.
And
And it would have taken me much less time to research.
Yeah. There's so many different versions. We didn't even talk about all the different versions. The like Nialmo is supposed to be 20 foot tall.
Yeah, there are supposed to be 3 different ones. They
There's more than
have
3,
different
though.
features. Well, according to some stuff I read, the original Tibetan ones had 3 different kinds, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, but they're probably just bears.
It's probably mostly bears.
Just a bunch of bears. I did see one interesting thing, and it was talking about how they did a genetic analysis on like some bone or something, and then it was like
An
the
ancient
closest
polar
animal
bear.
it matched to was a polar bear, and then they're like, so maybe it's a a brown bear polar bear hybrid. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Pretty
You don't
sure
believe it?
a newer study debunked that.
Oh, okay.
I think I talked
Well,
about that in the video.
shucks.
I can't remember that.
Anyway, are we good to move on, or do you want to keep talking about the Yeti? Okay. So next is Q&A, and Can you tell everyone how they can send us a question
Yeah,
or a
you can
comment?
send it to thewildworldpodcast@gmail.com. That's thewildworldpodcast@gmail.com. Give me a question, comment, or an insult.
Yeah, we welcome your insults. Hold on, I need to plug in my... So, this question, we have one question today. It's from Anthony.
Anthony, man, you're keeping this section alive. You're such a hero.
Yeah. So, Anthony says, "Hey guys, Mika, keep making tunes. # release an album." Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. In the realm of paleontology, what are some lesser known but equally fascinating prehistoric creatures that deserve more attention? That's question 1. Question 2, what are your favorite prehistoric creatures and why did you choose them? As always, keep up the great work. Best regards, Anthony. So, yeah, first question. What are some lesser known but equally fascinating prehistoric creatures that deserve more attention?
Lesser known.
I would say there are a bunch of, like, sort of missing link creatures or animals that maybe their line died out that we don't even think about that are not dinosaurs, like just giant weird things like the giant sloth and
Megatherium or something?
yeah, and just some weird,
But the
weird ones.
I feel like that comes up a lot.
I just think that people don't really talk about them because they're too busy talking about dinosaurs. They're not talking about
Yeah, Megatherium. Mammoths get a lot of spotlight as well.
yeah, but they're not talking about like Titanoboa. Or
What are you talking about? Everyone's talking about Titanoboa.
who's talking about it?
Go on some like prehistoric forums or something. Titanoboa is in the Ark game.
Okay, I'm sorry. Fine, everyone's talking about Titanoboa. Let me try to find something that no one is actually talking about.
It's always the biggest one you hear of, but there's like another huge snake that wasn't as big. Do you remember what it's called? It's always like in
No.
scales. I'll see if I can find it.
Sorry, I don't really know anything off the top of my head to answer the question, but
Yeah,
basically, I'm really partial to the animals that died off and aren't dinosaurs, aren't even related to dinosaurs, that people just tend not to talk about, like what, Dimetrodon, is that it? The one it's not a dinosaur even though people think it is, and it was like the first therapsid, or not the first, but it was like before the split off of mammals and reptiles. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that a Dimetrodon?
Yeah, it has the spine.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Gigantophis was the snake I was thinking of.
Oh, the biggest rodents ever to live on the planet, the Josephorartigaceae. They weighed up to 1,000 kilograms. They were a rodent. That's big.
It's a chunky rodent. Do you know Leptictidium?
No.
It's this early-ish mammal around the same time as like terror birds, or maybe just before. Yeah, I think around the same time. You should look it up. It's like a weird small. It looks like a kangaroo with a long nose. Mm-hmm. That's a cool animal. They used to have Walking with Beasts. These holographic 3D cards. Remember that was the first one I got.
Sorry, these pictures aren't loading in this article I'm trying to read, but there's a bunch. There's a bunch that I think people should look into more. Like,
But we're not going to tell you which ones.
what? Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. I'm partial to the prehistoric horses. The ones that are so
Little mini
tiny
ones?
and they have those little cleft foots. Yeah, the little babies. No one ever talks about Megalodon.
Yeah.
That was actually the first thing that came up. I was like, weirdest prehistoric creatures that no one talks about. I looked that up, and the first thing that come up was Megalodon.
Yeah. If only like a couple of YouTubers or a film studio or something will try and capitalize on it. Maybe a book series.
There's a book series? Is that what the movie's based off of?
Yeah. Steve Alton believes that there's a good possibility that the Megalodon is still alive.
I believe it.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's tricky to think of ones that aren't like well known,
Yeah, because they're not well known.
and I'm too dumb.
So I definitely learned about some in my like studies at university, but I just promptly forgot about them. Like, I thought they were really cool when I learned about them, and I don't have like the memory to remember all of them, but they were cool, whatever they were.
I like those like early hominids and that possibly part of our lineage, like the Australopithecines, and
Okay, this is cool. There's some dog. It's an extinct member of the dog family, which lineage did not carry on, which specialized in fruit. Now that's weird. That's interesting. There's the otter bear with its weird face that was semi-aquatic and ate a bunch of shellfish. There's a huge badger. Oh my gosh, the largest monkey of all time, which is like a giant baboon.
oh yeah, the Nandi bear.
And it probably ate our ancestors. Yeah. That is scary. Don't you find that like terrifying? I would say that's spooky. Baboons are spooky, and big baboons are spookier.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were huge. They were really, really big. It seems that they ate us because they were around at the same time. Just some guys. Just some little... What about that weird elephant with the really long nose? Not nose, but like mouth? Amabelodon. Yeah.
So do you have a favorite?
No, I couldn't choose a favorite. I don't know enough about it to choose a favorite, but...
Is that on the second part of the question?
What are your favorite prehistoric creatures? Why'd you choose them? You know I love plesiosaurs, and I like them because I think they'd be fun to ride in the water. And I like how their necks are so long, and I like how they're so different from anything we have now. Like mammoths aren't that cool compared to this because we have elephants. Saber-toothed tigers, not cool because we have tigers or other cats. Dinosaurs, okay, they're cool, but we have birds, you know? But plesiosaurs, what do we have that's like them? Not much. So
Probably
there's nothing that has a neck that long
no, but what were their closest living?
besides a giraffe.
Like a big lizard? What am I thinking of? Not a Komodo dragon.
I mean, I guess a big lizard, but it's just not the same.
A goanna or something.
And similarly, like Quetzalcoatlus and other big flying reptiles, I love them because it's a similar thing where we don't have anything like them, and we'll never have anything like them, probably. It's just, they're so cool. Do you have a favorite prehistoric animal? Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I'm going to say something different today. I'm going to say the Gallimimus.
What's that?
Do you remember in Jurassic Park 1? When they're flocking this way, and they all like ran over to them, and then the T-Rex broke out of the forest and ate one.
Oh, why do you like them so much?
Apparently they're like one of the fastest dinosaurs as well. They're built for running.
Built for speed.
Built for speed.
Okay, fair enough. Is that it? Did we answer the question?
Yeah, I'm really annoyed that I can't think of the type of lizard.
That's okay.
But it's so obvious. I can see it. I remember they used to have one in the pet shop, and I used to really want to get one.
Crested dragon.
No, bigger. Monitors. Different monitors.
I meant bearded dragon. Monitor lizard? Oh.
Yeah.
But again, a monitor lizard, if someone was like, Mom, I want a plesiosaur, and you said, oh, I have a plesiosaur, we have a plesiosaur at home, and they gave you a monitor lizard.
Well, I mean, that's the meme, basically.
It's the meme, and it'd be more disappointing than in other instances.
Well, if I said I want a T-Rex and I found a crow...
You'd be happy because you love crows.
Yes, that's true.
And if someone said, we have a prehistoric horse, and you came home and it was just a normal horse, disappointment.
You'd be happy.
I'd be like, it's not small enough. Okay. So it looks like, if I'm looking
Turtles.
at this, plesiosaurs are...
Latest study suggests that plesiosaurs' closest living relatives are turtles.
Oh. Yeah, I also am looking at that. I'm looking at a cladogram, whatever it's called. Phylogeny. And it does look like turtles are very similar. All we need is a turtle that has a super long neck, and then it's basically a plesiosaur, right? Okay.
How about mosasaurs' closest living relative are different types of monitors?
No, mosasaur's closest living relative is a snake.
I swore I read that it was like...
All you have to do is look at this biological chart, a diagram I'm going to send to you, and then you'll see. Although, who knows if this is accurate? I mean, can we trust Earth Archives? Besides us, yours truly, this podcast?
We're not even sure ourselves when we talk about things. Like, I think maybe it was this, or I can't remember what it was called. Maybe it was this, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Should we move on to the comments? I just have one comment for you today from your YouTube channel.
Okay.
So my comment, please tell me what this is from. Homo aquaticus, not a delusion, just people who went from semi-aquatic, all of us, to fully aquatic them.
Yeah, that's from mermaid sightings.
Yeah. So, first of all, do you agree that people are semi-aquatic? Because I don't, although there are people who are really good at free diving and stuff.
No, I wouldn't really say we're semi-aquatic.
And do you think it's possible that, do you think that some of us could have in the past branched off and become fully aquatic to live in the water and have changed a lot and now we're mermaids?
No.
Why not?
There's no evidence to suggest that.
Well, it says it's not a delusion.
It's true. And they do sound pretty confident, like that person from before.
Well,
the amount of confidence
so
people have in YouTube comments, though.
this made me think about what we've already been talking about with, like, encounters with humanoid creatures that are almost like us but aren't, and how that must have been something that happened a lot to us as, like, in our past as a species. And it also made me think about that audiobook we listened to about Alaska and the ancient tribe, the tribe that was lost in Alaska. Well, they weren't lost, they, like, ran away, and they've never been contacted by colonizers, Westerners, whatever. And the thought is that because they've been on their own for so long, they've basically evolved to be different. They're like the uncanny valley where there's a slightly different from modern humans. That's what this comment made me think of, which is that how possible is it that somewhere in our world there's a group of humans that, like, branched off from us or was never fully human because they came from another branch or something, and they're out there and they're just a little different and they have some cool special features and they're scary. We would think that they're scary because of inherent xenophobia. Yeah. Wouldn't that be? I mean, that's just so interesting.
Yeah.
It's brought up so many different times in different contexts. Yeah.
Yeah, surely there's a small group of something out there. A few Neanderthals and all that.
Well, if this was 1850, we would be saying that certain people in this world are that. But that's called racism.
Right. I thought we were going to go with something a little more lighthearted, like we would have said that about the gorilla or something.
No, I'm saying that, like, people used to think that they had uncovered this branch off of humanity, and they were, like, studying it, and they're like, oh, they're basically us, but they're a little bit different, and that justified a lot of things. But actually,
Nonsense.
We're all the same. We're all the same species.
Yeah.
But what if there is something that hasn't been found? You know?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. It's like if we're all one species and we, like, have a lot of xenophobia, we find something that
if there was something, it would not go well for that other species.
No. Well, that's probably what, didn't we, like, isn't there theories that we killed off all the Neanderthals?
We probably did.
Yeah.
They just weren't cutting it, you know?
No.
They were like...
They were asking
we were
for
like,
it.
we were like, you have to conform to our values. And they were like, but I want to keep hibernating.
Our skulls are bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Listen to the way you talk with your weird, squeaky, high-pitched voices, counting to 3. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, like that. They all sound like that. We couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. We were going insane listening to them. Would you like some food?
That's so true. I would not be able to stand another person that could always talk like that at me. Okay. I feel like this went on really long. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Did you see that comment under one of our... It looks like someone deleted it. I don't think it was me, but under the podcast about... someone said, you think seals have scales? What are you smoking? Is there a video where we talk about mermaids?
Well, I was actually in that podcast, I was talking about how for some cultures, mermaids don't have scales. They actually are furry like a seal. So no, I don't think seals have scales, but I do think that I think it's like a Danish type of mermaid, or a Scandinavian one anyway. They're part seal, not part fish. And they have, which actually makes more sense biologically, to be part mammal rather than having fish features. So no, I don't think they have scales. But Thank you for the question.
I didn't know if they were referencing you or me. I couldn't remember. I was really confused.
No, it was definitely me talking about the other type of mermaid that has seal body.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Hope you enjoyed our lengthy episode.
Yes. Please tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. Please email us. Please
With
tell us everything
insults.
you know about about the Yeti and about haunted houses. Tell us everything. And share and like and subscribe and comment.
Subscribe, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
They say that cats don't like water. They must not have known about me. I live, I breathe, I'm in love with the water. It's all that there is to me.
I live in Southeastern Asia, wherever water can be found. Swamps will do, and so will forests too. And I always live alone. Fish are what's on my menu, that's why they call me a fishing cat. I wait on the banks of the river, and when I see a fish, I go splash. Sometimes I just scoop the fish out with one of my cool web paws, but other times I take a long swim and I dive, grab those fish from my jaws.
They say that cats don't like water.